Hello everyone, this is part 3 of tutorial 5. As we said in the last two videos, tutorial 5 contains 3 important commands: the revolve, the sweep, and the loft. In the last two videos, we introduced the revolve and the sweep. So this video is about the loft command. So assume that I create this 2D sketch, this small rectangle, and I want to extrude. Then the new feature will be a small rectangle at a distance of maybe 2. Now, what if I want to have the new feature to start with this small rectangle, but it's not a straight line with the same rectangle? I want the thickness or the width of this part to be increasing until I reach this shape, and then finally I want to conclude by a circle. So it's not a normal extrude. This is exactly what loft does. It gives us the option to create an extrude starting with a shape and ends with a different shape, circle and rectangle, or small rectangle and big rectangle, and that's it. So let's go and create this in the software. For example, assume that I have a specific rectangle with dimensions of 0.5 length and height 0.1. But I want to end the extrude with big rectangle, any scale. So I will make the rectangle, and parallel to that plane, I will create a new plane at a distance of 1, and I'll make the big rectangle, and I'll say loft. That means extrude, but starts with a small rectangle, end with big rectangle. When I finish, I can create a new plane with a circle and make a new loft. Or I can start with a small rectangle, big rectangle, and a circle, and in one shot I can do the 3 planes in one loft command. Okay? So the distance between the planes is 1 and 1. So let's go to the software, make a new part, double click, new sketch, and in the front plane, for example, I have a rectangle, small rectangle. For example, dimension is given to be 0.5 and 0.1. So dimensions 0.5 and thickness 0.1 and finish. So if I look at the isometric view, this is my small rectangle. Okay, now that was the front plane. I would go to features, reference geometry, new plane. So I would make a new plane at a distance of 1, but it's given in the other direction, so flip offset, and that's my second plane. Now in this plane, if I look at the front view, I can say that in the plane number 1, create a new sketch, and it is a rectangle with a bigger dimensions. For example, let me say this, and confirm. Now I have small rectangle, big rectangle, and I can create a new plane. Okay, plane parallel to this plane at a distance 1, but in the other direction, and confirm. Now in plane number 2, I would create a small circle. So in the origin, I would say this is the final circle, and confirm. Now I don't want to see the planes, so I can go and hide plane number 1 and hide plane number 2. The isometric view is small rectangle, big rectangle, and a circle, similar to what we have in the tutorial. Now if I say extrude the small rectangle in the other direction, I would have this rectangle, the small one, extruded in the straight line with the same dimension. But if I want to use the loft command, I have to select sketch number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I prefer to start with a specific corner as a reference and then decide the same corner in the other sketch. And you can see that I selected sketch number 1, sketch number 2 for profiles, and I will continue adding the circle so that the shape will be, let me finish, the shape will be extruded in a way that it will start with a small rectangle and it will go through the big rectangle, and then at the end it will stop at that circle. So for any reason, if I change my sketch number 2 and edit, and I reduce the size, for example, of this rectangle, let me just reduce the height, and I'll say done. The loft will be reduced also in a way that the corners of this small rectangle will meet the corners of that big rectangle, and then finally they will reach the circle. And that's it. This is the command loft. Thank you for watching the video.